So make sure you have all of this written down. Or if you didn't get to certain ones, make sure you go back and refill it. So number 4, the axis of symmetry was x equals 1. The vertex was 1, 3. Domain was all real numbers, or negative infinity to infinity. And your range was from negative infinity to 3. I know the graph is a little hard to see, but make sure you have those points, then you can graph it on your own. Do we have any questions on number 4? Jada. Domain is going to be the same no matter what. If you're looking at your x values, what is the furthest point to the left and the furthest point to the right that this stops at? It doesn't ever stop because it's going to keep going out slightly to the left and slightly to the right. For your domain, for your range, you're looking at lowest and highest. Your lowest, you don't know because it's going to keep going down, but your highest, you know because it's stops there. Domain and range is something I'm introducing to you in this, but it's not like something you'll be tested on. So know it, keep it in your mind if you're moving forward to Algebra 2, but it's okay if you don't 100% understand what that means. Number 5, axis of symmetry, x equals 3, vertex is 3, 4, domain is the same, and range now starts at 4 and goes to infinity. Make sure you have your table so that way you can fill in your graph. Questions on number 5? We did together, so we need to skip that one. 7, axis of symmetry was x equals -2. Vertex was -2, -8. Domain is all real numbers. Range starts at negative infinity and goes to -8. Make sure you have this table filled in. Questions on number 7? Moving on to number 8. Axis of symmetry is x equals 2. Vertex is 2, 7. Domain is the same, all real numbers. Range starts at negative infinity and goes to positive 7. Make sure you have your table so you can graph it if you didn't get to that one. questions on 8? For 9, axis of symmetry is x equals -1. Vertex is -1, 1. Domain is the same. And your range starts at -infinity and goes to +1. Make sure you have your table for that. What questions do we have on that one? And last one, number 10, axis of symmetry, x equals -3. Vertex is -3, 7. Domain is the same. Range is -infinity to +7. What questions do we have on that one? We're going to come back to this and talk about the next lesson in this unit here in a second. Everyone turn to this page in your notes. We're going to quickly go through this together. Make sure everyone's paying attention. Now we are given graphs and have to find information from said graphs. So for the axis of symmetry of graph A, remember you're looking for a line that splits your parabola down the middle. Where would that be? -2. And you can draw this in, you don't need to. But this line would split this parabola down the middle. So this would be x equals -2. Where would it split down the middle on graph B? Okay. Middle. 3. So x equals 3 would be our axis of symmetry for B. Then it asks about the vertex. So this is either going to be the lowest point or the highest point. For graph A, what is your vertex? -5 is your y value. But your vertex needs to be an ordered pair. Know that this is -5. What's your x here? And it's negative. Two. It's not 0, but it's negative here. Since this is at the bottom, would this be a maximum or a minimum? Is this the highest point or the lowest point?
The lowest.
The lowest. So it's a min. What would the vertex of graphene be? Either looking for the highest or the lowest point.
Wait, how do you get
Whatever the highest is. So if you're given a graph, then you can just look and see, okay, where's the highest or where's the lowest point. I said that backwards. But for this one, the lowest would be 3 at -2, -5. What's our vertex for B?
Was it a 4, 3?
3, 4, yeah. Would this be a maximum or a minimum? Maximum. Really quickly, domain is going to be the same for both of these. Range is going to be different because one faces up and the other faces down. So the range for this is going to start at -5 and go up. And this one's going to start low and stop at 4. For 7, we can eliminate some of these answers because we know this faces up. So if this has a negative, we can get rid of those. Now to figure out which one of these it is, we can do one of two things. Either graph these both and see which one matches, or do the axis of symmetry. So I'm going to do that one. So this is for A. You know our axis of symmetry has to be a negative. This did not give us a negative, so it has to be B. And then same thing for 8. We know since it faces down that it can't be positive, so we can get rid of A and B. And then we can find the axis of symmetry for one of them. So -6 over 2 times -1, or 6 over -2. But our axis of symmetry was positive, so it's not that. So this was like a review of all of the different graphing things. Before we continue, do we have any questions on any of this? I want you to go back to the first page of the graphing. So for number 1, Now we're going to switch our focus. Instead of focusing on the graph and how to get it, we're going to talk about solutions. So we talked about this before, way back when. When we were first finding solutions, usually they were of something that was linear. So there was really only like one solution, or x-intercept, or root, or zero. We were finding the zeros. We're doing the same thing here. We're looking to see where, if at all, does this cross the x-axis? Does this cross the x-axis? Cross or touch, I should say. Does. But just at one place, right here. So anywhere it crosses or touches the x-axis would be your solution, or x-intercept, or root, or zero. And when we write these solutions, they're going to be ordered pairs. This one was also given to you in your table, so be on the lookout for that, because sometimes that happens. Does number 2 cross the x-axis at all? No. So when this does not cross the x-axis, this has no solutions. It has solutions, but it doesn't have real solutions. They're imaginary, something you'll deal with in Algebra 2. Those of you moving on to that. Does number 3 cross the x-axis? No. So that would also be no solution. Before we do number 4, go grab your calculator if you don't have it. Alright, for number 4, does this one cross the x-axis? Yes. But as we're looking at it here, it doesn't look like it crosses the lines exactly. So we're going to put that in our calculator to see if the graph is just throwing us off because all the grid lines are so close together, or if it actually doesn't cross the grid lines exactly, and we're going to use our calculator to help us figure out what those are. So in your calculator, you're going to go into y equals, and you're going to put in that equation, negative 2x squared plus 4x plus 1. So negative 2 times your variable squared plus 4 times your variable plus 1. Once you have this in your calculator, you're going to hit graph. And now we can clearly see that this does not cross on the grid line exactly, and neither does this. So it's going to be some decimal. So to figure out what that decimal is, and we've done this before, but just so you have it fresh in your mind, we're going to do it again. You're going to go into second trace. And we're looking for 0, x-intercept, solution, roots, all the same thing. And we need a number to the left. It doesn't matter which one we do first. Let's say we're doing this one. We need a number to the left of this. Someone give me a number that will be left of this.
Can you do the right?
Negative, whatever, doesn't matter. Okay. Now we need a number to the right of this, but it doesn't go past this.
2.
Say that again.
2.
Would work.
4.
4 would not work because it's going past this other one. We need it to stay right here. So now we have boundary lines. Now the calculator is going to look between those boundary lines and see where does this cross the x-axis. So we're going to hit enter. This is going to tell us some decimal. 0.22, let's round it to 5. 0.225. So that would be one of our solutions. Then our other one, we're going to do the exact same thing. So second trace, go into 0. Now we need a number left of this one, but that doesn't go past this. 1 would work, 2 would also work. Okay. Now we need some number to the right of this. Really, anything to the right would work. Now we have boundary lines. It's going to look between those boundary lines and find where does this cross the x-axis between those. Hit enter. 2.25. Usually the decimals are the same, but the number in front changes. So 2.25 would be our other one. And those would be our solutions. So with our quadratics, when you're looking for solutions, you can have 1, you can have none, or you can have 2. Those are your only choices. 1, none, or 2. So if you get 3, something's wrong. For number 5, does this cross the x-axis? No. So what type of solutions will we have? No solution. Number 6, does this cross the x-axis? No. So again, we have no solution. For 7, does this cross the x-axis? Yes. How many times? twice. We're going to have 2. And these do go through the grid lines exactly. You can also look at your table because it gave you those. So be on the lookout for those. Do we have any questions so far? If you miss the calculator steps, there'll be another problem when we do this again. Moving on to 8. Does this cross the x-axis? Yes. How many times? 2. It looks like this one might be on the grid line, but I'm not sure, but this one doesn't. So I'm going to put this in and make sure to go into my y equals. This is now negative x squared, so I'm just going to get rid of this 2. Plus 4x plus 3. And then I'm going to graph this. And when I graph it, I see that this is not at a grid line exactly. So we're going to have to use our calculator to find those points. Second trace. And then 0, or at number 2. We need some number to the left of, it doesn't matter which one we choose, but let's say we're doing this one first. We need a number left of this. Maybe 3. And then some number to the right of this, but that doesn't go past this one. 2 would work. Now we have boundary lines, and we can hit enter. Negative 0.64, let's round it to 6. So negative 0.646. If I had to guess, this is a little more than 4, so I'm going to say 4.646. Or let's do it just a double check. Second trace again, find our 0. We need a number to the left of this one, but that doesn't go past this one. Two would work again. And then we need some number to the right of this. 8. Now we have boundary lines, hit enter. 4.646 would be our other one. Number 9, does this cross the x-axis? Yes, how many times? Why are we going to have 2 solutions? And these are given to you in your table at negative 2, 0, and 0, 0. Does number 10 cross the x-axis? Yes. How many times? 2. So again, we're going to have 2 solutions. But we have to figure out what they are. We're going to put this in, and then I'm going to give you something else so you can practice. So in my y equals, this would be negative 3 x squared minus 18x minus 20. Graph it just to make sure, but these are not directly on grid lines. So let's find the 0, second trace, 2, some number left of this, let's say negative 8. Some number right of this would have to fall in here, so I could say negative 3. And then I have boundaries, so hit enter. Negative 4.528. And probably negative 1.5. Second trace, find your 0. I'm going to use negative 3 again, and then some number to the right. I have boundary lines, hit enter, negative 1.47. That one, the decimal was off for both. So this, I'm going to pass this up to you, and then I want you practicing both your graphing and finding your solutions. Let's try that again. This is just so you have the actual definition of it. Of what we've been doing. So the point at which the parabola intersects the x-axis, your roots, also called zero solutions, x-intercepts. So if it has two solutions, it's going to go through it twice, cross the x-axis twice. If it has one solution, it's going to touch the x-axis and either go up or down. But if it has no solution, it will not touch the x-axis at all. You have 6 problems to graph and find the solutions. I'm going to give you 10 or so minutes to work through as many of those as possible, and then we'll go over them. So you may need your notes from the ones we're just on to look at how to graph again. And then once you graph it, you may either be able to see the solutions, or you may need to put it in your calculator and find what those solutions are. Does anyone have any questions on what we're doing for the next 10 to 15 minutes? So everyone should be graphing these, finding the solution. Yes.
The graph information, like a sheet of that I can look
Of the what?
at. The calculator, how to put it in.
I don't, but it's just type it in.
Second.
You're talking about to find the zeros, you mean?
Yeah.
No, I don't, but I can come show you that. Yes.
Are we doing like as many as possible up to 10 questions?
Just 6.
Out of 6.
Yes, as many as possible with those 6. I'm just trying to get this to pause. It's not pausing. Hold on 1 second. Let's see.